WESELPA meeting. Council received some information on pending litigation CB-12-04108. No action was taken at this time. Okay, we have business consent agenda. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Joseph, second. Mr. Carr. Any questions? Comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Business action items G1 2012-13 Council Vice Chairperson decision. Annually, we select the vice chair in the absence of the county superintendent. So, do I have any nominations?
I would like to make a motion that whenever you want to know the vice chair, this is the superintendent done. So Randy will take the comment in, as your representative, and if not, that Gary Rutherford will be our vice chairperson.
If I'm absent, usually they come in my stead, and at times you've asked them to chair the meeting, but we always have had a backup plan just in case. So your motion for Gary Rutherford. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? We will close the nominations. Do I have a motion to approve Gary Rutherford as vice chairperson?
So moved.
Second. Joseph, second by Mr. Hammond. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll ask Mr. Rutherford certainly if he's willing to do this.
He said he's very
All right. G2 2012-13 State Civil Legislation Day. Swat.
The state civil administrators, along with school services of California, the Coalition for Active Spending, has day that they set aside each year that is organized by the South Legislative Committee. And it's a very scripted day where CAC
action items, so I need a motion to approve attendance legislation day of the CAC chair and chair of the CAC legislation committee to accompany our administrator to this year's legislative information sharing day.
I'll make that motion.
Motion is Sean. Second, you got the motions? Just want to make sure.
So you open the discussion?
Yeah, any comments?
I just wanted to clarify, you just said provided, and you want that, provided
Yeah,
that
travel,
you have
legislation day,
assurance.
airfare, to travel to Sacramento, mileage to the airport, parking fees. So I will amend my motion, or will you amend your motion, Sean?
I just want to make sure I understand what Susie has provided.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I said provided we have the assurance that that was all that we were going to do.
Yes. Yes. I will amend my motion to include that provision.
Okay, any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. G3, educationally related mental health funding allocations.
Cool. So, as you know, we have been mandated to provide the mental health services for students that were receiving under 8632, now they're 8114, so, school districts. And this year, we will be receiving an additional $2.8 million. And we've had talks at Captain Fact about how that money should be distributed. And what came out of that is we're not ready to return that without doing some work. And I think it'll be very good work. What we would ask, and I would ask for a superintendent to also participate in this, is that we will form a work group where we will have Peggy there from the county programs to talk about the new programs that we're looking at. We'll continue our mental health services for students. Our clinical counseling leadership team, which is 4 of our counselors. There are some PAC members that have volunteered and some CAC members, staff members that have volunteered. You know, and if we had a parent who had a child with emotional disturbance or some kind of mental health services, I think it would be a good thing to have their perspective too. So, and then myself and Jeanette, of course, is in the fiscal. So what we plan to do, we have a date coming up in mid-October to start the work, to look first of all at what do we have currently in terms of the full continuum of services. What do we want to do, because we have no assurance this money will continue long term. And so do we want to put some in reserves for future years in case the money goes away? There's talk in Sacramento that they want to roll this funding into our 8602 base, which, of course, to have it on the 8602 base would be flexibility to have the money spent, but it would no longer be earmarked for mental health services. And because this is so new to us, we have no idea long term what the real cost is going to be to us to provide these services. So, I'm not asking for any action today other than to inform you, because work group will be getting together to look at the physical impact of any decisions we might make. Now we know we have at least one district that wants to move forward to do the clinical counseling on their own. So if there were a superintendent who wanted to participate with us in that work, we welcome volunteer. Boy.
That's kidding.
Doesn't take the action around, does it?
Oh, we're on a roll.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm here. How about you?
So if anyone has an interest, please let Susan know. And this looks like a really good model idea.
Next year there will be more money in that. So it looks like a lot of money now, but still higher.
We have G4 and MOU.
Yes,
This is behavioral health.
right. So this is another piece of the services group counselors are assigned to which schools, they assign them that way as they come in. And so once in a while, if they say, you know, here we have a referral for a child whose services and needs are pretty intense, and West End Family Counseling has somebody that has a specialty in that or whatever, it's a resource for us to use and very so that's so I just need your approval for the MOU and then I need to talk to you guys about this.
Are there any questions? I have one. Is the 15% included in the 9,200 or is that on top of it? It's in addition.
It's their indirect fee, and I will tell you, you know, through this whole process, there's been a lot of talk at the state level about, you know, we all talk about what the fee is. Orange County had a fee of 42%, San Diego, I think, had a fee of about 24%. So although it sounds high to us, 15% in the world of CNA is pretty good.
Are their indirect cost rates established like ours are through the state, or do they establish those themselves? Do you know?
It's only an assumption on my part. I would guess that since it varies so widely across the state, that they must have something.
All right, any other questions? I need a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Department of Behavioral Health and WESELPA for reimbursement, realignment, portion, school-based early periodic screening, diagnosis, treatment, services provided for West End Family Counseling Services. So moved. Motion.
Second.
Rudy, any other comments or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Next is G5, the proposal for compensation, consultant services, Eric Holmes Associates.
I had originally asked if it would be possible, and I've taken it to various communities, to have Eric Collins Associates come in and do some work that I thought would benefit not only Jeanette in her new position, but herself, and also Eric Collins Associates is a consultant who has staff that serve districts throughout California. They serve currently in our area, probably in this area. And so it just so happens the consultant that I had wanted to bring in was Tori Carrion, who last year through our Collins Associates was my fiscal analyst because I had a very unique situation where I had a .20 FTE to do all my fiscal work. And Tori did that out of Las Vegas, the telecommunications. You know, we developed a brand new funding model that was approved by the WESELPA Superintendents Council. We just fabulous experiences. So what I had wanted to offer is that Tori would help us consolidate all of our spreadsheets into one set of spreadsheets. So I know there's been a lot of talk about looking at the populations, how we're doing various things. Just since I've been here, the growth in Oklahoma, the decline in EDA and how that affects the distribution of funds. We talked about out-of-home count. Right now, we just spread that across the WESELPA via ADA. Other places, they look at what beds are in which districts. And I mean, it was a good thing to just take a look at some things, what would it look like to do it differently. We had a consolidated set of spreadsheets, everything was in the link. But on our current model, people could go and look about and for their district and different ADA or whatever and say, oh, this is an impact to me. People could double check everything because you have everything in one set of spreadsheets to see if the calculation sources what you think it should or for the district that you can calculate it correctly. The other piece, we have a 30-page allocation plan, but that's not a piece of it. And so I had thought if we have our current allocation plan that is just how we're calculating things currently, and the document where we call it historical and the philosophy of terms and all of that, that could be a very helpful tool to people to go in the short version what are we doing now. The third piece, since I've been here, I've present and then entertain some questions. Well, this morning, I'll be moving your fashion. I took this feedback and took it to back, and I think I consulted some of our CEOs, and this is the work they do, and so they thought you have the resources within to do that. So that's a good thing, and you're going to find out that that's a very good thing in a minute. I talked to Eric Collins Associates this morning, and I can tell you how fabulous Tori is. So Tori, as a member, has taken a job as a business consultant. Works at Allen State in that. Good for her. That's for my old self, but she's all I have. So Eric Collins Associates has other people that I trust to still do this work with who are interested, but I don't feel that commitment from some of the fact members who didn't get a vote. It's up to you. If we don't go the route of Eric Collins Associates, I would at least, if it's going to cost $12,500, which we had salary savings throughout the whole summer, because Jeanette's position is vacant. And I know Jeanette was hoping that she would have this opportunity, because you spoke to that openly in our meeting last week. But if we're not going to do this, I would at least like to see us have the superintendents direct a group of fiscal people sit down and really talk this whole thing. The benefit I saw, and trying to do both sides, is when you have an outsider come in, sometimes they see some things that we don't see being done the same way for someone else. That's where we are. All of it.
Any discussion?
Recall how our fiscal team responded to this faculty plan.
This is my first meeting with the faculty, and I don't recall exactly who was who.
I haven't heard any objection from any.
Oh, Bill is Thursday.
Okay,
Whatever we decide.
okay.
I have a question about the steps as a teacher. So the committee from fact would get together and review and revise our 602 model.
They said that it would be within their purview to make, I sent them copies of the spreadsheet I had in San Diego to make you see how it all was. I sent them a copy of our page on the application plan. And feedback I got from taking this was, and one other they felt that they would develop a tool like that with their own knowledge and skills. So if they can, that would be wonderful. I just think it would be helpful to you. There are so many things that you don't see when you look at your spreadsheet. You have 8 pages, and of course the fiscal people would always need the backup. There's no doubt about that. What you would get would be a little different always than what the fiscal people would get. But for you to see what grants, what staff development grants, what preschool grants, all the funding that comes through the supplemental distribution, it would all be there in one document for you to see. The mental health monies, what else am I over? But just the full array of all the funding. The other piece that this set of spreadsheets had in it was the reconciliation with the state exhibits. So then you knew when you got done with all your calculations and you had copied into there the data from the CDA exhibits with a matching. And so that had been an issue with my previous stuff. Also has a page to show a calculation for the base funding per EDA. So when you go through the calculations the way it's set up, you can actually see, and I'll give you the example of my previous stuff. We had one district that was funded at $499 per student, all the way to a district that was $1,799 per student. And
provide
But I
the same
think-
kind of services?
Yeah, one of the CEOs for one of my districts, in my previous level, retired last year, and he worked for Eric Collins Associates, he works closely with Lori. I didn't even talk to Eric this morning about the other person. He's just hired somebody else that's, very well known across the state. So I'm sure he has other options.
I just wanted to say that in our conversations, these have been my concerns, and I really appreciate your responsiveness in coming up with a plan to address in your years. We all have the same concerns.
So you need a motion.
I need to add a minute. I tried to be proactive and talk to the contracts department because I wanted to make sure that you all said you wanted to do this, that then it would be appropriate because there's always that issue when it comes to that consulting contracts and they need to research the guidelines. We're in discussion. There was some concern about the duration that was on for June because 12,500 square out over June. They had a little bit of a concern. That could certainly be something that could be done between now and January. That's not a big issue. Their other concern were the hourly rates. You see it a little bit high. And Eric's comments this morning were, actually, I couldn't do a much lower rate than what the other district in your area is on. So it's not easy to want to do. So that's where we are.
My preference would be that our local experts, our fact people get together, get started on the committee, give them some time to work on that, and then bring this back. But at that point, they still feel like they can consult with them some assistance.
Is that a motion?
Well, that's an awesome motion.
Susan, when did you see the timeline? What do you see having to have this done? Since you talked about June, have it done by January. What are you looking at in your own mind to make this go forward? Because I heard about the controversy, but my comment out now was that it's short duration, you get it done, and then we have an operating tool, and you don't always have that opportunity within the folks that are working with you. And quite frankly, my business CEO person, I couldn't donate 5 minutes of her time. It's already taken care of. So going outside, getting the job, get the task done, and then moving on seems like a better deal.
If you was a company, I could have a problem if I need to vote, I mean, yeah. But now, because I know I could she was sending me emails back and forth, check out this, check out that, on the weekend meetings, whatever. But I would anticipate that probably a monthly for this spreadsheet because we would have to make sure that for Janet and Jeanette to make sure we submit everything we want in the spreadsheet. But on the other end, they would know if we have a formal version that I would compare.
Our current,
The allocation plan, I think that is, it said we would be done collaboratively with me and that person. I would like some input from faculty, or even that piece maybe we do on our own. But they need to at least have that documented, the consultant, to make sure they got what's in our allocation plan. The workshop, I would have to talk to them to see who they would recommend to me to do the workshop.
would it be possible for our fact folks to see this model and maybe begin to look at it and see if they could?
Well, it's been emailed to them, that's what I said, they have a copy of the spreadsheets, I sent them not a PDF version, but a version that they can manipulate the data.
And so maybe they could wrestle with the idea and make it work for us, and if they run into some issues that maybe they can't resolve, that this group would be, and that would be some sort of little resource.
And then I guess my other thought was, since we're trying to build transparency and trust, to have an outside agency come in, not that would be more frustrating, but it would be somebody else that would be outside or neutral.
next, communication on CAC after my presentation flyer, we have some other.
Okay, the CEC presentation is going to be October 9th, and it was discussed at the August CEC meeting, and there was a lot of discussion. A lot of people said that they wanted to include a well-rounded, diverse panel. The panel was to include several members, but because of the time constraints, we were going to give it to SELPA to do, and it was because, 6 weeks prior you have to, the flyers have to go out for printers, and then workability students assemble it. So it's a big old long process. So the Western SELPA administrator was going to organize it. And in the past, the presentations have been at best mediocre, so change is needed. And I wanted to know if, besides Susan and Amy, who else is going to be part of the panel? Because I don't want history to repeat itself. Amy Booty did a presentation on OAH, which is the Offices of Administrative Hearing, a year ago. And Amy painted a very pretty picture of this process, where, as you all know, it's very stressful and it's not at all collaborative. And it leads to overspending on our taxpayers' money. So I just want to make sure that the panel is well-rounded and diverse. Thank you.
If that's the expectation, I think I need to clarify. My understanding was we were given the opportunity to provide a parent training on the process for special ed, and I've been working nights and weekends to put together a presentation that actually takes our IEP manual, translates it on to the IEP forms. It'll be a wonderful tool that parents will have the IEP process explained to them, and then they will have this tool to take with them. And so I don't want to mislead anybody in thinking that what we have for you is a panel. Amy's going to talk about student safeguards and basically the SST process through. So we've distributed 15,000 flyers, and we are hoping that we can get some parents out that this will be very positive to me, and that they can walk away, especially if the parents need to special ed with tools so they can actually be living through an IEP meeting. Because I know the first time that a parent walks into an IEP meeting, it's like a little bit overwhelming and a little bit intimidating at the very least. So this was a start.
We have a couple of more folks that want to give some info on this item.
I think that's a great idea with the manual for parents. However, a lot of parents don't get the flyer to attend the meetings. I was in the district for many, many years, and I never got a flyer. So that's one concern. And the other concern is the presenter. I mean, I have nothing against Amy, but I know her good position. And I just think you need a person who's not in the due process presenting. Because some parents, once they've, been through the system, they have a tendency to not want to be present with the person that's at the opposite end of the table that says no or causes problems. I think you would have more collaborate or more open-minded parents if there was a different presenter. Nothing against, Amy, because I think she's great and all that, but from that point. But I think the manual's a great idea. I just wish that the flyers would be distributed. I know you guys are doing a great job trying, but it's still not happening.
I'd just like to address that I've worked for 4 town offices at Aetna. Last week we did duplicate 15,000 flyers, and we did send them out to the districts. This is a problem across the state of California. Sometimes we send them out to distribution lists or whatever, but you actually have a large turnout compared to most of your CAC. I would love it if you could get 15,000 parents there. I would love it if we could get 15 parents there. But it's a mystery across the state how to get parents to come out. But then on the other hand, maybe they don't get in the backpacks. Maybe.
But I didn't even know the CAC existed, and I was in the system for quite a while. I mean, so something's happening where there's a breakdown, even if it doesn't happen in the in the flyers, I mean, you know, in the backpacks and that, there's still a breakdown is all I'm saying.
And we're always looking for solutions, and so if somebody has one more solution to how we can get the materials out and how parents can be encouraged. And I would also hope that if we have guests that actually show up, that it can be a very positive experience for them.
Right, and I also had volunteered to go and help with flyers, but since I wasn't on the CAC board, I was not allowed to, so.
And I think we have to remember there was a past that you keep on bringing up.
But
that
I'm
allows
just-
chance to go in the future.
Right.
Yes, and thank you, Dr. Thomas. I wanted to echo some of the comments that Martina made. And actually, I specifically during my public comments suggested the idea of a panel, because if we do want to change the past, then we have to change the model we used in the past. And in the past, we used this model where all the information was coming from the SELPA director and the due process manager, to the extent that when the group of parents like myself and Andrea and other parents put on an independent workshop, I got an email from the SELPA administrator saying she was coming to do the presentation. She was not invited. So yes, we do have a past, but I think unless we remember our history, we're going to continue to make the same mistakes. And you can't tell me that this agency with its budget has less resources than we as parents, and we can get 45 parents in a room with Spanish translation on a Saturday, which we're doing this Saturday, an all-day workshop. I personally volunteered to provide advocates, attorneys. Yes, they're on the other side of the table, but they bring a different perspective. And these people are professional. They're not going to come litigate in public. They're going to come talk about the law, and it wouldn't cost you anything. I personally sent that email to Susan. So, and the CAC was thinking of a panel. That was the consensus, and now we see that that's not happening. So keep that in mind as we move forward, and the 15,000 flyers is a very big issue. I have yet to receive a flyer unless I pick one up here or attend a meeting and see one. And I think by now, people pretty much know who I am. And, you know, we don't know where the flyers are going. But there has to be a better way. Little things like the Disneyland information, for example, Disneyland tickets. I don't get those emails. Unless Martina sends me an email about the CAC meeting, I don't get those emails. I've repeatedly asked to be emailed the agenda. And especially of the subcommittees, because a lot of times I don't necessarily know when those meetings are going to happen. So I don't get those emails. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to add a couple of things. One of them is that 15,000 flyers is a lot of flyers. And when it's a waste of taxpayers' money to produce 15,000 flyers and they don't actually get to the parents, which for some reason it's not happening. So I recommend some kind of curiosity about this. And somebody might want to know, how come it is that SELPA shoves 15,000 flyers out into the districts and they all go down the rat hole? It's not something that happens once in a while. It happens all the time. So somebody ought to look at that process, because there's not much point in printing the flyers already unless there's some reasonable chance that they're going to get into the hands of the parents that they're being printed for. So yeah, I recommend some curiosity in that. This has always been that way. The parents just don't get anything. When there's supposed to be special ed self-evaluation forms, nobody ever sees those either. So the process is fundamentally broken for getting the stuff out to the parents out there. I don't know how it's broken or why it's broken. Nobody's paying me to figure out what that administrative problem is, but it is broken, and somebody ought to want to fix it.
Thank you. Okay. Superintendent's reports. Any reports from superintendents? All right, future agenda items. Are there, Mrs. Wood, would you like to speak to their agenda?
Yes, really briefly, I appreciate your patience. A few items, 3 items that I recommend that you look into for the future. Number 1, the private school consultant. I've brought this issue up before in the past. Under the Joe Riley days, and forgive me, Susan, for referring to the past, but that's when it happened. I made a public records request because we saw on the budget that there was the allocation for this consultant was $100,000, and it's a part-time position. So I put in a public records request for her scope of work, for the description of her job duties. I got a response back from the WESELPA that there were none. And I got a response back from the WESELPA also because I put in for any reports that she gives to the WESELPA, any emails on business issues. I got back a response that she doesn't provide any reports, but I found out at the private school meeting on Wednesday that in fact she does provide a report. So I don't know when she started providing the reports, but I would request that as a matter of public record. Another thing that happened at the private school meeting was that Ontario Christian, the representative from Ontario Christian, asked questions about how his district, Ontario Montclair School District, determines that he gets 30 minutes of consultation from this consultant per month. That's all he gets. So maybe there's a more efficient way. I know there was talk of, direct services for speech to kids. That seems to be a theme. Living Bell training, other programs like the Step Up Writing, Step Up to Math training. So please consider that. And I think at some point maybe that will be presented. The second item is child fine, specifically at early interventions to preschool. Susan mentioned that currently there's an ad in the paper and that one of the CAC volunteers is going to preschools, and there's a couple of other things. But I really encourage you to beef up that process. It shouldn't have to fall on the shoulders of a CAC volunteer when we have people at this agency that are making six-figure dollar salaries. So there should be a better way to do that. And the third and last one is that you provide some oversight, maybe create a committee of superintendents to look over the shoulder of the due process department in this agency. I was glad to see that you had an item on the agenda, and I commend you for that, where you went into closed session to talk about, pending litigation. I think that's great. And I think that kind of discussion needs to happen at the level of due process, pending due process, so that you can take a look and you can provide the oversight you need to provide to the staff. Because right now, according to the information that we received in the past, there is no process. It's basically the staff and the legal counsel working together. A litigator is always going to recommend litigation. Why should Best and Krieger recommend settlement when they could get the money in Best and Krieger coffers? They'd be bad business people if they did that. They're doing their job for their corporation, but that's not necessarily good. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other agenda items for future that you'd like to put on? I have one. I just am curious about the incident that happened at the private school, the exact incident being investigated.
It absolutely.
Can we get that report back? The information is.
And I would even like the opportunity to share a different perspective on the information that was shared at the private school meeting, either to you all today or the next meeting.
Why do we miss part of that? Item up there. Are there other items for future agenda items?
Susan, one of the things you and I have discussed is the use of my school district for counseling services and arranging classrooms. We haven't had any other dialogue since coming on that, and where that is.
And I wanted to chat with you about that because you came out and we looked, and not knowing now that we would be one request for district to take counseling back to themselves, I thought that facilities would be apologize for not calling you back sooner, but that's really what I was talking about.
I would also like to have some kind of report on the whole OA process. It seems to me like I'm getting emails, there's misconceptions, there's misunderstandings with respect to the school district, WESELPA, county superintendent, and all this. So if we could have some kind of report on what is the OA process, excuse me, and how does that flow? Who's responsible for what?
Can I clarify, you're asking for a recommendation
Yes.
to the superintendent's council?
Yes.
Well, along that line, on the 5th, which is, what, Friday? The OAH Advisory Committee is meeting downtown LA, so maybe somebody might want to go. I'm going.
Can I clarify? It is not downtown LA, they moved it to Van Nuys?
They moved it to Van Nuys?
Yes.
Oh. Well,
All right, anything further from council?
Did you want that presentation or did you want me to do it at some point, or do you want?
I don't care when it's done. I just think that we need to get the process going and understand the role that the district has, that the WESELPA has, in that process. And the parents.
So role of SELPA, role of district. Role of parents. Got it. Everybody.
Okay, anything else? All right, we need a motion to adjourn. Moved and seconded. All in favor? All right.
Thank you, everybody.